Welcome back to the Explainer. So, today we've got a real puzzle on our hands. We've stumbled upon what looks like a blueprint for something that doesn't seem to exist. And we're going to try and figure this thing out together, piece by piece.
Seriously, just think about that for a second. What if you found a set of instructions, really specific instructions, for a machine you've never ever seen before? A device that might not even be around anymore? Well, that's pretty much exactly where we find ourselves today.
So our source is this fragment of a document. It's written in Serbian, and it lays out the positions for a small set of keys on some kind of keyboard. It's full of these Cyrillic characters, and honestly, it reads more like a logic puzzle than a technical manual. Our mission? To put it back together.
You know, the key to cracking this whole thing is understanding its layout, and it all boils down to a really simple idea, a 3x3 grid. Every single key placement is described based on this grid, using plain language like bottom middle or middle left. This grid, it's our map. It's how we're going to solve this.
Okay, so with any puzzle, you've got to find a starting point, right? An anchor. And for this weird keyboard, our anchor is located right down the middle of that grid. So our first move is to figure out this central column. It's going to be our guide for placing everything else.
All right, clue number 1. The document gives us our first solid piece, key 16. It says it's placed at the bottom middle of our grid, and it's assigned the Cyrillic letter N, which is basically our N. Let's lock that in. This key is the very foundation of our central column.
Next up, we have key 13. Now the instructions get really specific here, calling it the middle of the middle, the absolute dead center of the whole grid. This key gets the letter L, or L. And what's super important here is that this central L key, it's going to be the main reference point for a bunch of other keys as we start to build outwards.
And to finish off the column, we have key 19. The blueprint says this one is located above key 16, our N key. Well, since we already know L is directly above N, this new key has to go at the very top, in the top middle spot. It's the letter P, or P. And just like that, bam, we have our first big breakthrough, a clear vertical line, NLP, right down the center.
So, with that central pillar locked in, the rest of the puzzle suddenly starts to fall into place. It's pretty cool. We can now use that NLP access to confidently figure out where all the keys to the left and right are supposed to go.
The instructions are actually crystal clear here, using our L key right in the center as the guide. So, key 17, which is the letter Anya, that's an NG sound, is placed to the left of key 13. And key 18, the letter O, our O, is right next to key 13. And just like that, the entire middle row is now filled out.
Okay, the next clue gives us key 14. This one's the Cyrillic letter LJ, which makes an LJ sound. And it's given the super precise position of top middle right. So it just slots in perfectly, right next to that P key we placed at the top. The picture is getting clearer with every single key.
Now for the last two keys with known locations. And this is where it gets interesting, because keys 11 and 12 aren't letters at all. The document just identifies them by their numbers. Key 12 goes in the bottom left spot, and key 11 goes in the bottom right. They just neatly flank our N key at the very bottom. So we followed the clues, we placed the pieces one by one, we used that central column as our guide. After all that detective work, what does this thing actually look like when we put it all together?
And here it is. This is the keyboard layout exactly as the document describes it. You can see that perfect PLN column down the middle, the keys flanking it on the side, the number keys at the bottom. We did it. We successfully decoded the blueprint. But as you can probably see, there's a pretty big hole there, isn't there?
And this is where it gets really fascinating. You know, solving one part of the puzzle has just revealed an even bigger one. The document gives us this amazing specific layout, but it also leaves us with all these tantalizing loose ends. It's pretty clear this blueprint is just one piece of a much bigger story.
So, here's what's still missing. The document straight up tells us that key 15 is the letter M, but it gives us absolutely no clue where it goes. It mentions a key 20, but gives us zero information about what it does or where it is. And our reconstructed grid has that glaring empty spot in the top left position. And all of this leads to the biggest question of all: what was this thing even for? And that's where the trail goes cold. We've decoded the pattern, but its purpose is still a total mystery. So what do you think this thing is? Is it the layout for some forgotten specialized piece of tech? Instructions for some crazy complex game? Or is it a code that we've only just started to break? Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.